No f***ing way. Jesus. Oh.
You're free solo.
Oh, it's like I have to breathe out just to be able to go through. Probably not gonna fit through here.
Peter Verhulst, Sterkfontein cave diving tragedy, South Africa. In the heart of South Africa lies a place that holds the secrets of early humanity, the Sterkfontein Caves, also known as Strong Spring. Part of the world-famous cradle of humankind, this ancient cave system has unearthed more than 90,000 ancestral fossils, making it a paleontological treasure trove. But it's not just history buried here. The caves have claimed lives too. Back in 1984, 29-year-old Peter Verhulst and two of his friends decided to go cave diving in these legendary depths. The rules of cave diving are strict for good reason. The number one: never, under any circumstances, let go of your guideline. But Peter made a critical mistake, not once, not twice, but 3 times. Unlike his friends, Peter wasn't as experienced, and yet he brought only one scuba tank and a single light. No backup gear, no safety spool. It was a decision that would cost him dearly. During the dive, he repeatedly broke away from the group to explore side passages, curious, excited, unaware of how dangerous it was. Each time his friends brought him back to the guideline, but on the 3rd attempt, he vanished. They waited, hoped, searched, nothing. With oxygen running low, the 2 divers surfaced and called in a rescue. An entire operation was launched. Teams of divers searched every crevice of the dark, algae-covered limestone passages. For 6 long weeks they looked, but Peter had disappeared. Then came a breakthrough. A small team of determined divers continued the search even after the main effort had ended. Deep in the cave, through a narrow tunnel and beyond the main diving sump, they found something: footprints in the mud. Following the trail, they reached a small island of dry ground inside the darkness, and there they found Peter, lifeless, curled up, alone. But what truly shook everyone was the autopsy report. Peter hadn't died from drowning. He had survived in that subterranean hell for nearly 3 weeks, in total darkness, slowly starving to death. Near his body was a message written in the sand, a heartbreaking farewell to his wife and mother, telling them how much he loved them. To this day, the deepest parts of the Sterkfontein caves remain sealed, forbidden. The loss of Peter Verhulst became one of the most tragic and painful cave diving endings in South Africa's history. 1973, Mount Gambier, the Shaft cave diving disaster, Australia. Mount Gambier in South Australia is home to some of the most stunning underwater cave systems in the world. Among them is the Shaft, a seemingly magical sinkhole with clear blue waters and hidden tunnels. But in 1973, it turned into a place of nightmare for a group of 9 divers. They arrived with high spirits, eager to explore. The team included 8 divers and a 9th member who stayed topside. The plan was simple: a recreational dive to the rock pile 40 meters down. But things began to unravel quickly. They made key mistakes: no buddy system, no proper air planning, and most critically, no safety guidelines. As they descended, some went beyond the agreed limits, venturing into deeper, darker parts of the cave. Nitrogen narcosis, a condition similar to intoxication, began to cloud their judgment. One diver, already affected, surfaced early. Others chose to continue. Soon it turned chaotic. Divers got separated, air supplies were dwindling. In the confusion, Christine Millett and Gordon Roberts panicked and swam into a dome in the ceiling, a dead-end chamber with no exit. Witnesses later recalled seeing their torches swinging desperately, searching for a way out. Then, silence. They ran out of air and drowned. At the same time, another diver, John Bockerman, was seen swimming strongly downward. It was his final dive. His body was found later, far below the others, where the cave plummeted to terrifying depths. The 4th victim, Stephen Millett, was found under an overhang, his body floating, likely having tried to rest, hoping to make it back up. Rescue operations began the next day, but the conditions were brutal. The visibility was near zero, the depths extreme. Police divers and later volunteer teams spent months trying to recover the bodies. It took nearly a year before all 4 were brought back to the surface. The accident shocked the diving community. It changed how cave dives were planned in Australia, tightening safety protocols across the country. But for the families and the survivors, nothing could undo the pain of that day, when the shaft swallowed 4 lives in complete silence. Martin Farr and Roger Solari, Ogof Agan Allwed Cave Incident, UK, Wales. The cave system of Ogof Agan. Allwed in Wales is no walk in the park. With more than 32 kilometers of passages, flooded tunnels, and bone-chilling waters, it's a place only the most experienced cavers dare to explore. In 1974, Martin Farr and Roger Solari, both highly skilled, set out to do something few had attempted: pass the 3rd sump and see what lay beyond. They had been dreaming of this dive for weeks, and when they finally reached the mysterious 4th sump, they were thrilled. But the deeper they went, the more dangerous it became. Martin broke a critical rule of diving, the rule of thirds. He used more than a third of his air going in, leaving very little for the journey back. He was lured by what looked like a gravel wall that might hide a new air pocket, but it was a dead end. No air, just solid rock. Realizing the mistake, he turned around and met Roger on the way back. But Roger, who had sinus problems and smaller tanks, was struggling. Martin tried to hurry back to the pool at the end of Sump 4, but his air ran out just 130 feet before surfacing. Barely, just barely, he made it with his emergency tank. He waited for Roger. 10 minutes passed, then 20, then an hour. Roger never surfaced. Martin returned days later with others to search for his friend, but Roger had vanished. It wasn't until 12 years later, in 1986, that Roger's body was finally found, 720 feet into the sump. The location was so deep and inaccessible, his body was left in place. Today, a plaque near Sump 1 honors Roger Solari. His story is one of brave exploration, but also a stark warning about the cost of going just a little too far when you're already too deep. Cass Cave Rope Entanglement Rescue. Bonnie Jo Grieve, USA, West Virginia. Cass Cave in West Virginia is famous for its massive chambers and waterfalls, but it's also known for one of the most dramatic rescue operations in American caving history. On March 16, 1968, 6 young cavers descended into Cass Cave with excitement and adrenaline. Among them was Bonnie Jo Grieve. But while rappelling down the enormous 180-foot drop into the cave's big room, Bonnie's ropes twisted and locked tight around her chest. She was stuck, dangling mid-air, unable to move and worse, unable to breathe properly. Above, the roar of the underground waterfall drowned out her calls. Below, her friends couldn't reach her. Benny Stone, realizing how serious the situation was, grabbed a rope and climbed up to help. He found her exhausted and barely responsive. Despite his best efforts, the ropes were too tangled to untie. He tried for hours, finally forced to rappel back down. Another caver went up to try untangling from the top, but again, hours passed with no success. For 5 long hours, Bonnie hung in the air in pain and fear. Finally, using a break bar rappel technique, rescuers managed to lower her safely to the bottom. Help had arrived, with new gear, a ladder, and slings. It was a hard-earned rescue, one that nearly ended in tragedy. Bonnie survived, but the rescue highlighted just how quickly things can go wrong underground, even for the experienced. Breathing Cave Tragedy, Joe Chiara Falls 50 feet, USA, Virginia. Breathing Cave in Virginia is known for its unique airflow and complex maze of tunnels. On May 28th, a group of 6 enthusiastic young cavers entered with one goal: to reach the waterfall deep inside. Among them was 15-year-old Joe Chiara. Everything went fine at first. The group explored at a casual pace, stopping often. They reached a 300-foot-long canyon known as Cathedral Passage. 2 routes lay ahead: a lower path involving wet crawling and a technical upper path with ledges and chimneying. They chose the upper path. Joe, climbing carefully along a ledge, lost his footing. In a split second, he fell 50 feet to the lower level. The sound of his short gasp was the only warning his teammates had before the crash. Panic set in. Some scrambled down to him, others rushed to the surface to get help. Supplies were lowered back down: rope, blankets, anything to help stabilize him. But it was too late. Joe's breathing became weaker, until it stopped completely. Despite attempts to revive him, he passed away in the cave. The rescue operation lasted hours. It wasn't until nearly midnight that his body was recovered. Joe had been wearing a basic lamp-carrying helmet, not a real safety helmet. It offered no protection in the fall. His death wasn't just tragic. It became a cautionary tale about underestimating cave systems, even those considered beginner-friendly. In caving, even one slip can be fatal. MrBeast's Glowworm Cave Survival Challenge, New Zealand. What starts as a viral video idea, surviving 7 days underground in New Zealand's Waitomo glowworm caves, turns into one of the most challenging adventures for the MrBeast crew. This wasn't just a tourist cave. They ventured deep into one of the world's most beautiful but complicated systems. Glowworms lit up the ceilings like stars, but beauty came with danger. The team had to rappel down vertical shafts, crawl through tight squeezes, swim freezing underground rivers, and face the crushing darkness day after day. Early on, one of their team members gets stuck in a narrow crevice. Others shiver in the icy water, and exhaustion sets in fast. As the days go by, everything becomes harder: sleep, food, movement. The cold never really leaves their bones, and the silence becomes eerie, broken only by drips of water and echoing footsteps. Their equipment constantly fails. Lights dim too soon, batteries drain faster than expected, and moisture ruins a lot of their footage. Morale dips. Jokes become forced. One team member has a mild panic attack after hours in a tight crawl space with no visible end. Food rations, pre-packed for comfort, become tasteless when mixed with cave grit. Sleeping on rocks becomes the norm, and the ache in their backs never fully fades. But things truly escalate when water levels start rising. Strong currents threaten to wash them away, and they're forced to retreat from dangerous sections. Even their drone footage stops. Battery life is no match for cave moisture. They're on edge, soaked, tired, and beginning to doubt if finishing the challenge is even possible. Days blend together in the eternal dark, and the line between documenting a challenge and surviving it blurs. But on day 6, they reach the glowworm chamber, and the sight is breathtaking. The ceiling sparkles like a galaxy above them. For a brief moment, silence turns into awe, and every hardship suddenly feels worth it. After days of struggle, they finally see the reward. They survive the journey back too, barely. Every step toward the surface feels like lifting a mountain, but they emerge with smiles, disbelief, and a renewed respect for nature. It was supposed to be a challenge. It became a real test of physical and mental limits. What they thought would be a viral video became one of their most dangerous and unforgettable missions. Caves are ancient, beautiful, and mysterious, but they are also unforgiving. These stories aren't just tales of exploration. They are raw reminders that nature doesn't bend to ambition. The people in these stories pushed limits. Some came back, others didn't. And each of them teaches one thing. In the depths of the earth, preparation isn't optional. It's survival. Enjoyed the story? Then don't forget to like the video, hit that subscribe button, and ring the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. Stay safe, stay curious, and always respect the darkness.